Hey strong people, Kalle Beck here from StartingStrongman.com. Today I'm going to be covering Strongest Woman in the World, which took place yesterday, Sunday, in Alaska. This was a show put on by Strongman Corporation. If you want to watch videos of it, they live streamed all of the events on their Facebook page, the Strongman Corporation Facebook page. So you can turn off this video right now. I did a preview for the show a few days ago, and I was just talking about the lack of promotion. There's not much information on it. I emailed people at Strongman Corporation to get a competitors list, but looking at the show and everything that went down, it looked really good. The venue looked good. There was a huge crowd. They gave away money. And talking to some of the competitors, people around, like when they'd go out to eat breakfast the day before, people asked if they were for the Strong Woman show. So there was a lot of local press, just not a lot of press dedicated to people like you who watch videos of me in my dirty garage talking about things that happened all over the world in Strongman. So not to the actual Strongman fan / competitor, but to the local people that are actually going to come out and watch the event. And that is something that is widely missed in promotion these days. I'm horrible at it. I've promoted shows and not very good at getting local press and people. It's hard. I know how to promote on social media, but the old style of just banners, and I don't know exactly how well they did it, but banners and TV ads or radio spots and stuff, that's a lot of hard work. There's a good show I went to in Texas a couple years ago that did that, but that's really what you need to get that spectator. Is how do you get the local involved, the people that aren't Strongman fans? How do you get them to come out and then hopefully become Strongman fans? Yes, there should also be social media push to let the athletes and the diehard fans know as well, but the people that are actually going to go up to, I think it was Palmer, Alaska, and watch, kind of more important. And for the rest of us, it wasn't said that there was going to be, but there was a live stream that was fairly well done, and it was free, and it was on Facebook, and I watched them all, and it went fine. So there's the lightweight women, which is under 140 pounds, middleweight women, which is under 181 pounds, and heavyweight women, which is, over 181 pounds. All competing. There's prize money for the top 3 in each division, and the top 2 in each division would qualify for the Arnold Pro in Columbus, Ohio in 2020 in each division. Went over all that in my preview show if you want some more thoughts on that. The first event was a keg press. So they had a couple kegs, I think I have it down here somewhere. I'm not 100% on the weights, but I think these are correct. For the lightweight women, they did a 150, 170, and 190 pound keg. Could have been 130, 150, 170, but I think it's 150, 170, 190, which is just really heavy. I mean, I've had a 190 pound keg in a medley, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. Keg presses are tricky. Christina Bengma won that event in the lightweights. In the middleweights, Danny Vehi, sorry if I get that wrong, she really cleaned up. I think she won every event. I might be wrong, but she won the Arnold Amateur this past year and has the world record for the middleweight in the axle clean and press, and she's a force to be reckoned with in the middleweight division for anything she competes in from here on out. I'm just going to say that she looked very impressive this weekend. Then they went on to a van. They pushed a van which was slightly downhill, which I'm sure the athletes weren't complaining about. This big brown Ford van. They pushed it down the hill, then went immediately. In the keg press, think Jessica Fithen won the keg press, and Brooke Souza took second in the heavyweight class. Then they went into a van, into a dog sled, which is cool. I like that there was area-specific events. I think that's a huge draw for strongman, and something that a lot of shows have gotten away from. Even high-level shows that kind of invented the area-specific events, like World's Strongest Man, are doing less and less of that. They're bringing back just a little bit, but having stuff where it's like, it's a dog sled and it had kegs in it, it's better than just some metal sled. I'm sure it was modified slightly to be pulled on pavement, but it just works better. So they did that. Most of the times were around, I don't know if they changed the weights. The downhill push of the van didn't seem too influential on the final results, but I think it still helped. Not everything needs to be so hard. Anything around 30-ish seconds was doing really well, and I believe Jessica Thieker won the lightweight in that. Jessica Thieker of Canada, and in the middleweight was Danny, and then Jessica Fithen won the heavyweights with the fastest time of the day. I think they used all the same one. I think she was the only person, I think she did in like 29, so only person to get under 30 there. Then they went on to an axle deadlift. It was 380 pounds for the lightweights, 420 for the middleweights, and 460 for the heavyweights. So on that, Jessica Thieker again won the event. I think these are all unofficial, so if I get anything a little wrong, what else is new? She won the event with 7 reps. Laura Anderson did it with 6. Christina Bengma went up and just pulled 1 and stopped, knowing that she didn't really want to pull 6 or 7, and you're going to get just as many points in that instance for getting 1 rep as you would 5. So that's a definite pro move, and people need to watch the pros and how they do stuff like that. Doesn't mean you should sandbag events, but if it's not worth the extra point, or it's probably not within your abilities to get 5 more reps, just do the 1. Then I think Danny won the 420-pound deadlift for reps in the middleweights as well. Then going on to the heavyweights, there was a good battle. Emily Marin of Canada went out and set a good number with, I think it was 7 reps. Then Brittany Cornelia went out and hit 8 and looked good for maybe a little more, but she stopped, and it might have been a bad idea, because being strategic doesn't always pay off, because Brooke Souza went up and got 8 reps, and I think surprising a lot of the competitors, not me because I coach her, but Jessica Fithen tied with 8 reps with 460 pounds. Jessica's due for a deadlift PR, that's for sure. I think it's just right around 540 is around what she's pulled, and these other women are more around a 600 pull, and she matched them. The first 4 looked like an empty bar, and her deadlifting has improved tremendously. Something to note on programming is we only hit the contest weight once for a double in training, and just worked on a lot of everything else. And I think a lot of people, they worry about pulling contest weight or pulling too heavy too often, and if you're doing all your assistance work to make everything stronger, and just working on the technique and the form to make everything good, while not beating your body down and getting hurt, that's kind of the mystery sauce in strongman, is how to do that. Not to completely break your body down, but still work hard enough and still be able to work on everything else. So it's a crude science, that's for sure. Not a science. I'm not a scientist, but I was very happy to see that on a personal note. Then we went on to the Salmon Toss, which was probably the most talked about and will be the most talked about event in this contest, and I was a little skeptical about it. Seemed a little weird. It is a little weird. It's 55 pounds, and it is a rubber salmon that has great facial expressions. The photos are amazing. They had to throw it like a shot put with two hands like this for distance. And they all got 3 throws all in a row. So most people's first throw was their best because then their shoulders and everything else is a little more tired. They got a slight running start for it. And I think, I'm not completely sure what happened in the lightweights on that. I know Christina Bengma got second. Thieker might have won it. I'm not too sure on that. I know Danny had in the middleweights, got the longest throw of the day with throwing it, I think, 15 feet. And then in the heavyweights, Jessica Fitton threw it. I think everyone else was in the like 12, most people were in the 12 to 13 foot range. And Jessica's first throw was over 14 feet for another event win. But the crowd loved it, and it looked cool. And I'm sure the athletes really appreciated having a less stressful on the body event after doing all those deadlifts for reps. And I think that's something that strongman needs more of, especially in heavier weight classes, like pro shows, heavier contests where, they're going to be putting their body through a lot. There needs to be an event like, all right, you just deadlifted for reps and did a heavy yoke, etc. Now here's a Hercules hold. It's not really going to tax you the same. Here's a front hold. Here's something, some sort of throw. I think it would help less injuries and just having more people be able to compete more often. And the crowd got behind it. They can understand, like, it looked hard, it looked cumbersome, and when I know, like, everyone was getting it right there, and they could tell Jessica's first throw was further, and they erupted. It was pretty cool. I'm sure the athletes would have hated life even more if they went straight from that deadlifting, they're all doing 6 to 8 reps in the deadlift, straight to running kegs for 60 feet, which was the last event. With, there's at least you get a little break with your hamstrings, your low back, and everything before doing that by putting an event that's not so taxing on the body, maybe a little bit more technical in between them. And I think that's just proper programming for a show. Plus, again, it's an area-specific event. It's going to have people talking because it's not the same thing. Strongman's supposed to be a little weird, and weird things should be tried. And the Salmon Toss looked great. I think it was a hit. I think it was a success, and I wouldn't doubt a strongman on the amateur scenes seems to be a copycat, where if a high-level contest does some sort of wacky event or something new, it's copied everywhere. Who knows what people might be throwing in the future? The last event was a keg carry and load. They had a ton of kegs, and they were placed very far away from the platform, and this all a one-day contest, and everyone looked a little tired. Jessica Fitton was the only person to load 3 kegs in the heavyweights, and I think it was another event win for Jessica Thieker in the lightweights and Danny in the middleweights. Wrapping it up, the crowd roared when Jessica got the 3rd keg up there after the other, heavyweights were almost getting there. I mean, it was close. And I didn't really catch I wasn't able to catch the lightweights. I don't know if that was shown on the live stream. It wasn't perfect. So, final results, very unofficial. In the lightweight women, there's Joelle got 5th. Laura Anderson got 4th. Jessica Kite got 3rd. She zeroed the deadlift, unfortunately, but looked great and everything else. Christina Bengma got 2nd, qualifying for the Arnold Pro. Jessica Thieker qualifies for the Arnold Pro as well, winning the event. And every class, there's $10,000 in overall prize money, which is great. And every class, 3rd got $500, 2nd got $1,000, and 1st got $2,000. In the middleweight women, Sarah Cogswell ended up in 3rd place, and Bailey Duchesne got 2nd, qualifying for the Arnold Pro, and Danny qualified for the Arnold Pro, winning the event, looking very impressive. In the heavyweights, Jackie O, not going to butcher your name again, you got a laugh out of that, got 6th in the heavyweights, followed by Emily Marin in 5th, Corey Butler in 4th, Brittany Cornelius in 3rd, Brooke Sousa in 2nd, and Jessica Fithin in 1st place for the win. And the top 3 heavyweight women all qualified for the Arnold Pro. It was said to be second going into the day, but I think that is a good call. The Arnold Pro, there's no weight classes there. It's all open weight. And it sounds like that's kind of being sorted out. You know, they're inviting more open weight women, you know, as far as percentage-wise, I think, to compete. And, yeah, so it looks like they're... you know, it's kind of going more towards it. They're still mixing the weight classes, but I think it's going to keep going where that issue is being corrected. Not that it's an issue. I think that they tried to get a pro strong women show at the Arnold, and this is how it was able to be accepted, and now they're just continuing to improve it every year. And it is a big show. I will have a video in the future because I think the only contest left for a qualifying spot is the Arnold Spain, which is in a few weeks. So I'll break that down. I'll break down the results, and then once those are known, I'll put out a list of all of the strongmen qualified for the Arnold Pro, and of course also give an update on the men qualified for the Arnold Pro. Thanks for watching. I think strongest women in the world look great. More competitors would have been is what you'd want, a little more depth in each class, but the competitors can't account for that. Every athlete there definitely put it out there. There's great performances all around, and some very strong ladies are now qualified for the Arnold Pro. And I think hopefully next year it's a little bigger. And thanks for watching. I'm Kalle Beck. Of course, visit store.startingstrongman.com for all of your strongman training needs.